tuned in.
You are now tuned into
The realest show on YouTube with your host, The Angryman.
What's good with everybody? We back in the building yet again. Shout out to Keith. Keith said, nah, 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 nah. Hey, hey, hey. Goodbye. Yo, shout out to Gresh Gore. He said DJ AM is being savage tonight. Shout out to Renee. He said, appreciate the contribution. I like to entertain, you feel me? Shout out to Michael. Michael said, loving the playlist, got me doing the Trump dance.
$50 boss up. Stack up and match up.
Shout out to Michael hitting us on the PayPal side of the game. Shout out to my man Izzy Bands in the building. He said, thank you, the man, the legend, the angry man, for everything. I appreciate you, fam, no doubt. Broski. Appreciate you. So, we got a lot to talk about today. And I'm going to be petty as petty can get. Bah. In fact, let me go ahead and hit my timer. You know, because with my ADHD, I be losing track of time and I get to rambling. Because y'all really don't believe, y'all may not know this, but I could talk forever. I never run out of shit to talk about. Ever. Never do I run out of shit to talk about. I could do this forever. But, you know, a lot of people probably wonder, Angry Man, why do you play the music at the beginning of the show? Because I believe in being an entertainer. You understand? I believe in putting on a show. An entertaining show. If I were to do live shows, right, I would play music at the beginning of the show. You feel me? I would. I think that's cool. You feel me? But the first thing on the agenda that we have to talk about, because I don't know if y'all saw the photos. I don't know if y'all saw it yet. But if you didn't see it, it don't matter because I'm going to show it to you. Oh, yes. I'm going to show it to you. So I want you to imagine, if you will, imagine being on top of the world. Imagine being one ass hair away from being the most powerful person in the world, right? Imagine that you have the ability to get black women to raise, what was it, $40 million in one night? 40 million. And then turn around and get black men to raise another, what, 20, 30 million? Because you're cosplaying a black person? Imagine raising $1 billion. A record-breaking $1 billion for a presidential campaign. Imagine almost being the first female president. And to go from that to having to do your own grocery shopping. Hey, and look at the guy's face standing behind him. Look, he's standing there with his arms folded like, it's a damn shame. How the mighty have fallen. Oh, my God. Is that Kamala? Is that who that is? I can't tell. Is that Kamala? You know what? Hey, I haven't heard anybody correct anyone about her name lately. Now that she didn't win, people is like, yeah, chamomile, Kamala, Kamala, and ain't nobody spoke up and said it's Kamala. Nope, nobody, no one has spoke up and said it's Kamala. You feel me? I'm pretty sure she was in that grocery store and somebody was like, hey, is that you, Kamala? It's Kamala. Who gives a shit? Like, no one cares. No one cares. This is hilarious. This is hilarious, bro. I don't care what no one said. This right here is like, it's Christmas time early, bro. Do you have any earthly idea the amount of pleasure it gives me to know that she had to go to a grocery store with the common everyday American people and they got to look her in her face while she's holding that massive L. There is no L bigger than the L that she just received, bruh. No one in recent history has suffered an L like that, bruh. Like, seriously. Like, you according to the way we think society is, you were supposed to win, chamomile. You were supposed to win. You were the great brown hope. You were supposed to win. All of the progressives and the lefties and the liberals and the celebrities and all the endorsements that you got, you were supposed to win. You were supposed to win. Now, here's the thing I'm interested about. You had to leave. You and Biden had to leave the White House. You had to leave the White House, right? You had to go. You had to get your stuff, get your shit, and get out, right? But there's a little item that everybody else has forgotten about, but I didn't forget about it. I didn't forget about it, and I'm hoping that all of Trump's cabinet doesn't forget about it. There's a little bit of business, little unfinished business. Because during the Biden administration, somebody found some cocaine in the White House. Little, little baggie of cocaine. Now, the little baggie of cocaine that they found, the FBI put it in an evidence locker. Now, according to FBI protocol, that cocaine has to stay in there for at least 7 years if nobody gets charged with it. And what I understand is they got a partial DNA match. So my question is, whose cocaine was it? And when are they going to get prosecuted? I'm just saying, considering that this happened on the watch of the person who basically made his entire career off of the 93 or the 94 crime bill, which basically focused on locking up inner city youth and urban youth for cocaine possession. I want to know which one of you raggedy, trifling, corrupt politicians is going to get prosecuted for walking around the White House snorting cocaine. I would like to know. Somebody need to be prosecuted. Somebody needs to be held accountable. Like, don't think we forgot. Don't think the American people forgot. Okay? Don't think the American people forgot. Dion said, Angryman, everyone got pardons above the law. Actually, that is incorrect. Everyone did not get pardons. Everyone did not get pardons. That's not correct. Actually, if you want to be totally honest, everyone in Biden's circle got pardoned except the niggers. Nobody paid any attention to that. Out of Biden's whole camp, everybody that was associated with him, why didn't anybody black get pardoned? Fannie Willis didn't get a pardon. Letitia James didn't get a pardon. Alvin Bragg didn't get a pardon. Kamala didn't get a pardon. Why is it your president, former president, the one that wasn't racist, why didn't he pardon any of the black folk? Can you answer that for me? Democrat Party? No matter of fact, forget the Democrat Party. I really don't give a shit what they think. How about you black folk out there that's running around here talking all this trash about Trump? You black folk, you Negroes that's running around here still talking about Trump is racist and all that. Could you please explain to me why your president, Joe Biden, didn't pardon any Negroes? Can you please explain that to me? I would really love to know. I'd love to know. Inquiring minds want to know. I want to know. Why didn't he pardon any of them? See, nobody's asking that question. Nobody's asking that question. Right? No one's asking that question. Yeah, exactly. He didn't even pardon his own VP. Didn't even pardon his own VP. You think if he feels the need, let's just say for argument's sake that his reason, let's say that Biden's reason for pardoning the people around him is because he's afraid Trump is going to go after them. Why didn't he pardon VP Harris? We know why he didn't, because he don't like her. we know why he didn't, because he doesn't like her. He doesn't like her. And just like I told y'all, Letitia James and Fannie Willis and Alvin Bragg, they were useful morons. See, he had you guys jump out there because he knew that if y'all jumped out there, Trump wouldn't be able to say anything and the Republicans wouldn't be able to say anything, because first of all, what Alvin Bragg did was incompetent. What Letitia James did was incompetent. What Fannie Willis did was incompetent. But see, if the Trump administration or Trump and his lawyers or Republicans or just white people in general call out that incompetence, the Biden administration can easily say, oh, you're being racist. That's the whole reason why they picked Alvin Bragg, because he's black. That's the whole reason why they picked Letitia James, because she's black. That's the whole reason why they picked Fannie Willis, because she's black. Because if you call them out on anything, they can cry racism, which is basically what Fannie Willis did the entire time. She ran to every black church she could run to and stood up in the pulpit and accused Donald Trump and everybody that was against her of being racist. And I'm still trying to figure out why the hell she was sitting in the damn pulpit. Black church. I would love to know your answer for that. You know for a fact this is a woman that was carrying on an affair with a married man, and you let her stand in the house of the Lord, in the pulpit where the preacher stands? What's going on, black church? What is going on, black church? I'm going to tell you something for real. And when I was younger and I stopped going to church, I used to feel bad because I wasn't going to church, because my grandmother raised me to go to church. But I'm going to tell you something right now. I don't feel bad now, because your churches nowadays, black folks, are not houses of the Lord. They are dens of inequity. Every time you look up, you got some Jezebel harlot up there standing behind the damn pulpit running her damn mouth. Why? Please explain to me why. I would love to know why. I would love to understand why you Baptist preachers got women standing up there running their mouth when it clearly states in the Bible that your black ass ain't supposed to be doing that. I would love for you to explain why. You better hope there ain't a hell, because if it is, you're going to bust it wide open with gasoline draws on. Especially those of you that are false shepherds leading your sheep and your flock and your congregation in the wrong direction, trying to make everybody cool with things that are described in the Bible as abominations. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. But getting back to the point, let me not go off on a tangent about black churches. Getting back to the point, that's the reason why they use them. They use them as disposable cannon fodder. Here, Letitia James, I want you to take on this case. If you can win it, cool. But if you can't win it, guess what? Hey, Alvin Bragg, I want you to bring these charges, which you know is BS. If you can win it, cool, but you can't. Hey, Letitia James. Not Letitia, but Fannie Willis. We want you to bring these charges. And look, let's be real about it. Fannie Willis is down there in Georgia trying her best to hide all of the paperwork, trying her best to make sure that they don't see the conversations and the correspondence between her and the White House. She is fighting like hell to make sure that they don't see the connection between her and the White House. It's too late, Fannie. We already know what you did. We already know. Anybody with any intelligence can put that shit together. Anybody with any intelligence can put it together. And you're the one. You're the one. You're the one. Because you're the one that made that man go down there and take a mugshot, which backfired in spectacular fashion. But see, that's what you get, because God don't like ugly. That's what your ass get. You thought that everybody was going to look at him a certain way because he had a mugshot, when really all you did was turn him into a folk hero. That's all you did. You turned him into Robin Hood. Did you forget the country that you live in? Did you forget the country that you live in? The country that you live in. See, here's the thing about Americans. We love the country, but we are anti-establishment, especially if that establishment does not have the people's best interest at heart. See, that's the thin line that we walk as Americans. See, the vast majority of us, we root for the outlaws. We root for the criminals when the criminal or the outlaw is an anti-hero that has a just cause. I'm a cowboy. On a steel horse I ride, and I'm wanted, dead or alive. So you making that man take a mugshot, all you did was turn him into Robin Hood. All you did was turn him into William Wallace. You turned him into a hero. And then that nutcase that decided to take a shot at him immortalized him. Immortalized him. Because now he is a president that survived. He survived an assassination attempt. There ain't but a couple of presidents that did that. So it's really going to be interesting to see what happens to y'all since good old Papa Joe didn't save your ass. He left you out there for the wolves. Why did he do that? Because he's a racist piece of shit, and he always has been. He always has been. Meanwhile, my president, he don't care what you think. He don't care if you think it's right or wrong. The first day he got in office, he signed the executive order, free my homies. They came down there to protest for me. And they've been rotting in a jail for me. Free my homies. And guess what? They didn't have to be part of his family. They didn't have to be political partners. They didn't have to be nothing but American. That's the same reason why he ain't even been in office a week. And what did he say? He said, I'm going to North Carolina. I'm going to California. When I touch down, I'm going to shake shit up. Them folk been down here in North Carolina, in the western part of North Carolina, suffering. Sleeping in tents. We don't even know how many people accurately. We don't even know how many people lost their lives. They go down there first day, millions in aid. Millions. Furnished apartments. First day. And then you got people online talking about it doesn't make sense. How was they able to do it in one day and Joe Biden and them couldn't do it? Because they ain't shit. That's why. They couldn't do it because they had no intentions of doing it. And I would surmise And this is just my personal belief, and this is just my opinion. I don't have any proof of this, but this is my opinion. I feel like those people out there in Western North Carolina didn't get help because they figured that they were a bunch of Trump supporters. It's like the video I showed you at the beginning where the young lady said that. Right? Y'all remember when the black chick came out, come to find out she spilled the beans that FEMA wasn't supposed to go to any houses that had Trump signs in front of it? And they tried to fire her and basically throw her out there to the wolves, and she jumped online and did an interview and said that's what she was told to do. Right? Then we find out that there were donations locked up in a trailer somewhere that was supposed to, millions of dollars that was supposed to go to them people that they are now getting because of Donald Trump. And then you had the young lady up there talking about all of the people involved in this should be ashamed of themselves. Nah, fuck that. All of the people involved in that need to be prosecuted. I'm really getting sick of the right. Stop letting the left get away with shit. Every person involved in denying the people of North Carolina the aid that they needed should be brought up on charges. Period. Point blank fucking period. It's time to have some accountability. It's time for some accountability. In fact, there needs to be so much damn accountability that no one in the future would dare to even entertain the idea of running an administration the way Joe Biden did. Tootie Bug said FEMA should be dismantled. It should. It should. It should. The people that work for FEMA should be fired. And anybody involved in any illegal activities or any shenanigans should be brought up on charges. And you know what they should do? They should come up with a new freaking organization to replace FEMA. That's what they should do. That's what they should do. That's what they should do. Because when you think about what they were offering, compared to what they're getting now, it's not even comparable. It's not even comparable. Excuse me. It's not even comparable. In fact, let's play the video again so y'all can hear the accounts of what has happened.
Carolina, and he's found JD Vance is in North Carolina, and he's found furnished apartments to put the people in that have been living in tents. Let's talk about it. So yeah, JD Vance, 4 days into his job, is in North Carolina, and he's miraculously found furnished apartments, very nice furnished apartments, to take the people that are living in tents, that have been living in the tents in freezing cold temperatures, and he's giving those apartments to them. Remember when we found out that there were trailers full of donations sitting locked in some parking lot, and FEMA was like, oh, we forgot, sorry.
Trailers full of donations. locked up in some parking lot, and they talking about they forgot. They forgot.
Allegedly. Well, they're getting all of those donations. From what I hear, JD Vance has helped those people so much so that they're actually okay right now. They're inside and they're warm and they have an apartment. Remember when Airbnbs and hotels and landlords were jacking up the prices when those people had nowhere to go, allegedly? Where did these apartments come from? Remember a week or two ago when Biden on his last few days gave $100 million in federal funds to the Pacific Palisades wildfires? But then when North Carolina was suffering through Hurricane Helene, FEMA said they got on the news and said they had no more money. Where'd the $100 million come from? Where'd these furnished apartments come from? And why didn't the people in North Carolina have access to them prior to 4 days ago? Like, I remember hearing rumors, allegedly people saying that FEMA was directed not to help people who had certain signages in their yard. Is that true? Because I want to know where all these furnished apartments just came from. I want to know why JD Vance, 4 days into being the vice president, has literally went to those tents and taken those people out and giving them homes and giving those donations to them where they should have had it all along. They essentially didn't need that raggedy ass $750 that Kamala fake promised them. Because remember, they ended up not being eligible. And then if they were, they had to pay it back. Tell me why and tell me how in this country anything like this can happen. Tell me how they are literally playing in our faces. And those people in North Carolina have been struggling and suffering for months. And we still never got the accurate unalive number. We don't know what that is. What I hear is they're still finding people unalive. What about, are there any cases of hypothermia? Because these people have been living in tents, in freezing cold weather. And all JD Vance had to do was get sworn in as VP and go help them because all this time no one was helping them? This is outrageous. And everyone that was a part of that sham or scam or whatever the hell it was that was having these people intentionally suffer for no reason should be ashamed of themselves.
No, they shouldn't be ashamed of themselves. We don't care if they're ashamed or not. They should be brought up on charges. They should be brought up on charges. Now, some people are saying, well, what charges would you bring them up on? I don't know. Let's come up with some. The same way they come up with charges whenever they want to charge up somebody on the right with something. Well, what did Judge Mershon tell the jury? Well, we can't find an underlying law, but if you think he did something wrong, then you got to find him guilty. Ain't that what they said? Ain't that what they said? Because trust and believe, I'm pretty sure there's a charge. I'm pretty sure that FEMA has some sort of mandate or something that they're supposed to do. I'm pretty sure that goes against what they're supposed to do.
This is unacceptable. This is literally unacceptable. Because in my mind, that means if those apartments were there this whole time, why didn't the other administration go down there and put those people into them? Why have they had them struggling? And then they take it off the media. They don't allow it on apps anymore, so we can't see it on TikTok like it never damn happened. This is such an embarrassment for this country, and I cannot believe. Thank goodness for Donald J. Trump and JD Vance. And allegedly, Donald Trump's going to be down in North Carolina today. Thank goodness. But then that administration, they're the bad ones. They're the ones that just want to make their rich friends richer. I don't think so, because the people in North Carolina who've been sleeping in tents weren't rich.
Oh, I'm bugging. I'm bugging. There is a charge for it. It's called conspiracy. Or hell, RICO.
Thank you for liking this video. Share it, follow me if you're not following me, because this is where I come to talk about all of the nonsense that goes on and make it make sense.
Shout out to that sister.
So do you think it was all by choice? J.D. Vance is in North Carolina. People are being moved out of tents now into completely furnished apartments where they have no need. Everything will be provided because most of them don't have anything, right? How, day 4, and he's taking care of them, and the previous administration didn't do nothing for months, knowing they were out in the cold in tents. And we've heard of the disaster that happened. If you haven't, yeah, froze. They froze completely. And completely sad. But does this mean, by choice, Hawaii? Florida? California's going to fall on the new guy. Which, thank God, right? But a lot of news to spread today. If you're here, I'll do a second video because this one's already gotten long, but those people are being taken care of finally.
I mean, can you think about the nerve? The nerve. And look, here's the thing about it. I'm not that far from where that happened at. That could have just as easily happened right over here where I'm at. Could have just as easily happened over here. The people lost everything. They lost everything. A lot of them are lucky that they made it out with their lives. If you saw any of the videos, and guess what? A lot of them videos weren't played anywhere except for like TikTok. I seen them videos, and let's be real. Trump went down there before he was even president. He went down there before he was even president. And Elon Musk, the one that y'all want to talk so crazy about, he went down there with Starlink so that those people could get some sort of communications. But every time I look up, one of you goofies is on TikTok running your mouth about Trump or running your mouth about Elon. And I'm going to keep it real. A lot of times, it's either one of two people. It's either a black person or a non-black person that is obviously a lefty and a progressive. And it's tired. It's tired. At this point, you sound like lunatics. Okay? Because you don't have the craziest thing about it is I'm sitting back looking at the level of outrage that average everyday Americans have for the mass deportations, but you don't seem to give a shit about the Americans in North Carolina that went through that. You don't seem to give a shit. You don't seem to give a shit about the Americans in North Carolina. You don't give a shit about the Americans in California. Forget the celebrities. I'm talking about the regular, average, everyday people losing their freaking houses in fires and shit. But you're so worried about somebody who ain't supposed to be here in the first place. It is, the way that our institutions of higher learning, our colleges and the left and the Democrats, the way they have trained American citizens to be anti-American should be studied. It should be studied. It needs to be studied so that it can be stopped and never done again. I've never seen anything like this before, bro. I've never seen Americans be blatantly un-American. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy and it's disgusting. Shout out to MA, said, stay encouraged, Angry Man. Enjoy the music. Shout out to the lowly one, said Christ called them a den of thieves and then had to chase them out with the whip. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're 100% correct. Shout out to Noodles. Noodles said, meanwhile, Unc pardoned rappers and their friends on his way out, even that Sambo Snoop Dogg's friend. Facts. Shout out to Seeker of Truth. Said paying tuition. Appreciate you. Shout out to David. Shout out to Keith. He said bring on military tribunals. Shout out to Michael. He said Trump got FEMA in his sights. Good. Yo, make sure y'all hitting the like button. Make sure y'all hitting the Cash App and supporting the show. Shout out to Edgar. He said appreciate the show. Shout out to Jeffrey. He said this one for Uncle Trump. Yo, we need a sponsor. We need a sponsor on the Cash App side of the game. We need another sponsor. You feel me? But it's amazing. It's amazing. And that's another reason why, like, look, there's a hustle that politicians do, right? They try to tell you this lie that the wheels of justice move really slowly, They try to make it seem like, there's so much red tape and there's so many things and so many processes and all of this that politicians have to go through in order to get anything done, right? That's the game they've been running on you. In fact, they've been running that game on us ever since I've been alive, right? But I need you to think about this. When they wanted to ban TikTok, how quickly did they get that together? When they wanted to ban TikTok, how quickly did they get that together? That's number one. Number two, look at the amount of work that Donald Trump has put in just 5 days in office. He's only been in office for 5 days. And look at the amount of work he's put in. Okay? In fact, here's the difference.
An observation that I have made, given the fact that I've covered the Biden administration throughout the week, throughout the weekends. Generally speaking, there is a Marine standing outside the Oval Office whenever the president is in there working. The last 2 days here, today and yesterday, myself being at the White House, that Marine is constantly outside the Oval Office, signaling that the president is in there working for the American people. The Marine was never out there during the Biden administration. It was a very rare occurrence. If you did, the Marine was out there. It was very rare if it was, but by comparison, the Marine has always been out here the last 2 days.
Now, what he's saying is that whenever the president is in the Oval Office working, there is a Marine stationed outside of the Oval Office. He said for the entire time that Trump has been in office, that Marine is standing out there late into the night, which means that the president is in there working. But on the flip side, he said the Marine was rarely ever out there when Biden was in office. You know what that means? means Biden's raggedy ass was rarely ever in the Oval Office. It means Biden's raggedy ass was rarely ever doing any damn work. Just think about how scary that is. And just to give you an idea of how scary it really is, go look at House Speaker Mike Johnson's recent interview where he talks about not being able to get a meeting with Joe Biden. And when he finally did get a meeting, what happened? Just go pull it up. When you get a chance, go pull it up and watch what he says. See, the reality is, in spite of all of the shaming tactics and all of the virtue signaling that the left is doing, and how they're trying to muddy the waters by saying, oh, Trump's just going to try to go after his political opponents, all of that crap. The reality is the Trump DOJ needs to investigate. The Trump DOJ needs to look into these things because I don't know what went on, but something goofy went on. Something goofy went on. Something goofy was going on. Somebody needs to account for the goofiness. That's all I'm saying. Somebody needs to account for the goofiness. Shout out to the High Climber. Appreciate you. Shout out to Billy Gruff. He says, send them to Mexico with them. Shout out to Lisa, said, thanks for your passion. We are MAGA before it was cool. Godspeed, my brother. Shout out to Meat Puppet. It's absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
And when a lid was called yesterday, the lid was called around 7. It's an observation that I have made, given the fact that I've covered the Biden administration throughout the week, throughout the weekends. Generally speaking, there is a Marine standing outside the Oval Office whenever the president is in there working. The last 2 days here, today and yesterday, myself being at the White House, that Marine is constantly outside the Oval Office, signaling that the president is in there working for the American people. The Marine was never out there during the Biden administration. It was a very rare occurrence. If you did, the Marine was out there. It was very rare if it was, but by comparison, the Marine has always been out here the last 2 days. And when a lid was called yesterday, the lid was called around 7, 8 o'clock yesterday, the Marine remained out there after the lid was called, signaling that Donald Trump was working late into the night for the American people. Meanwhile, by comparison, lids during the Biden administration were routinely called at 11 a.m.
I have to say, when the commander-in-chief, when the boss in charge is outworking everyone, it sets a totally different standard for the entire country, all of the employees. I mean, think about it. When you work at a corporation and your boss is the first person in, the last person out, everyone better be working hard.
Without a doubt.
All that lets you know is that Trump is going to get shit done. That's what that lets you know. I Am Ruckus Nephew said, AM, what condition would the country be in 5 days after her being inaugurated had she won? We dodged danger, my man. Sigh. Man, I don't even want to, I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't even want to fathom what shape we would be in had that cackling hyena got elected. Like, I don't even want to think about it. Shout out to Kendra, said paying tuition. Appreciate you. I don't even want to think about it. I had sleepless nights. Sleepless nights over the thought that she might be elected, bruh. When they called it for Trump, look, y'all, a lot of y'all were here with me that night when they called it for Trump. It was a high emotion night, and I was excited, but let me tell you something. When they called it for Trump, a sigh of relief washed over me, my friend. I'm telling you right now, because like just the fact, let me tell you something, just the fact that she was VP, I was worried every day that Joe Biden was going to keel over and then she was going to be president. Bruh, I was worried look, shout out to Joe Biden for staying alive long enough for Trump to win this new term. Thank God. Oh my God, bruh. I was worried every day. I said, that dude is going to mess around and keel over, and then she going to be president. I said, oh my God. Talk about being concerned, bruh. I'm telling you right now. There was a strong chance. There was a strong chance that she was going to be president. And now the only thing she's president of is produce. The only thing she's president of is produce. Get to shopping. Oh my God. Look at the look on her face. You know why she looking like that? She's looking at them damn grocery prices. She's like, wait a minute. This is how much these groceries cost? Yeah, where you been? Oh, you been VP for the last 4 years. Last time you did your grocery shopping was when we had President Trump grocery prices. That's what it is. You been VP for 4 years. You ain't did no grocery shopping. Mm-hmm. That's why she got that look on her face. Yeah. Is this how much stuff costs? Yeah, goofball. Is this how much it costs? What in the hell? I swear to God, if I was in a grocery store and I saw Kamala Harris, I would bust out laughing. Oh my God, bruh. I would be on the floor laughing my ass off. She'd be like, are you okay? Yeah. Hell yeah, I'm okay. Because you here in the grocery store with me instead of the White House. You damn skippy, I'm okay. I'm so glad to see you. Woo-wee. But I like this grocery store, so promise me you ain't gonna apply for no job here. Just promise you're not gonna apply for no job here, because I kind of like this grocery store. We don't want you running it into the ground, too. Oh. I would be laughing my ass off, bruh. I'd be giggling. You feel me? Yeah, she regular. I don't even know. Do do they give because what's really interesting to me looking at this, I don't see any Secret Service agents. I don't see any Secret Service agents. Let me, you know what? Let me look it up real quick. Let me look it up. Do vice presidents get Secret Service for life? Former vice president protection. Do they get Secret Service? Just answer the question. AI answers every other damn question. Come on with the goofiness. Give me an answer. Do vice presidents get Secret Service protection for life? How long do vice presidents get? Let's see. Congress passed legislation H.R. 5938, the former Vice President Protection Act of 2008, which authorizes Secret Service protection for former vice presidents, their spouses, and their children less than 16 years of age for up to 6 months after the vice president's term in office has ended. Ooh, so they only get Secret Service for 6 months. That sucks. Damn, that sucks. That sucks because you're always going to be the vice president. You're always going to be the vice president. But I'm bugging because I'm looking at the video. I don't see any Secret Service people. I don't see any Secret Service people.
Who we got in there?
There's no Secret Service agents out there. Y'all see any Secret Service agents? What are they, waiting in the car? What are they, waiting in the car?
How's it feel to be home, Miss Harris?
Oh, there go. Check out her Secret Service agent, bro. Yo, they gave her Carl Winslow. Bro, stop playing with me, fam. Stop playing. Because look, I see the earpiece. They gave her. Bruh. I didn't even know Secret Service agents had dad bods. Bro, stop it, fam. His shirt ain't even ironed, bro. His damn shirt ain't even ironed. He must be a DEI hire.
How's it feel to be home, Miss Harris? Thank you for your service.
Okay, so there's another one behind her. There's another one behind her right there. He doesn't look he looks like he's in a little bit better shape. Oh, that's who the other dude was. That guy right there. See, that's the one that's the problem. That's the one that's the problem. That guy back there with the glasses, he's the one. He's the one. He's the one that's gonna give you the business. Hold on, let me go back there. Yeah, he's the one right there. This guy right here, he's the one. He's the one that's gonna give you the business if you run up on him. He's the one right there, the one with his arms folded. Not on my watch. Let anybody run up on her. I ain't playing no games, fam. You feel me? Look at him. Check him out. It's like Jason Bourne's dad and shit. Yo. If you just coming in here, man, hit the like button, hit the Cash App and support the show. We need another sponsor. We need another sponsor of the show. We got to talk about this ICE situation and the illegal aliens that are being forcibly removed from the country. Hit the Cash App and support the show. Yeah, he definitely has that look on his face. You better watch it, bucko. We're not playing any games here, buddy. But I tell you what, to you Secret Service guys that are actually covering Kamala and Doug, I'm gonna need y'all to tighten it up. You know, I don't know, that formation was a little loose there, buddy. Okay, let's tighten it up there, pal. All right, let's dot our I's and cross our T's there, buddy. You were looking a little lax there, fam. God only knows she is a very important individual. All right, so before we go to the next segment, we're going to wait and see if we get some more support. We need some more support. We need some more support. I don't want to have to do another purge. I hope I don't have to do another purge. Cuz I got a whole lot to say about the immigrants. I got a whole lot to say. Go on now. I know we can get another sponsor on a Friday. I know we can get another sponsor on a Friday. See what's jumping off on X. Oh my God, bruh. Trump got Chris Hansen out here catching. Oh, the Trump administration has recruited the king of PDF hunters, Chris Hansen, to aid DHS in saving children from vicious predators. Wow. Wow. Bro.
Like, I was all for fucking Trump, dude. I was all for Trump. And then hearing this whole fucking thing of like, so yes, I have my kid's dad on child support, okay? I get $200 a month for both of them, okay? What is $200 going to do in California? Nothing, but it is what it is. I don't care. It's something. It's like something for me to take the boys out and do something fun since I can't do it on my own. Now with Trump passing the law that if your kid's on if you put your baby dad on child support, they're going to be getting the money from the child, like for child tax. How the fuck does that work? How does that work, dude? I'm literally the one that takes care of them 24.
I don't think he's passed he hasn't had. What is wrong with people? People are slow. Y'all know that? People are slow. Trump has not passed a law. He has not, first of all, Trump can't pass laws. Okay? Trump can't pass laws. He has not signed an executive order pertaining to child support and income tax. He hasn't done any of that. What he basically said on Truth Social was basically that the woman should not be filing the kids if the father is paying child support, which makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. Now, whether he's going to do anything to enact that so that it's enforced, that's a whole other thing. That's a whole other thing. That was, in my opinion, I think that was Trump thinking out loud. You feel what I'm saying? I think that was Trump thinking out loud, you know. So it's not like somebody has passed a law saying that, you know what I'm saying? Like, ooh wee. Check this out. Let's see if we can pull this up. Let's see if we can pull this up. So this joint right here says, excuse me, the black voting bloc have been voting overwhelmingly for the Democratic Party. Black voters have voted in at least in the 80 percentile for Democrats over 6 decades. Black women have long been the Democratic Party's most reliable voting bloc. More than 91% of black women who voted in the 2020 supported President Joe Biden. And polls have consistently shown they are still his most staunch constituency. One that has is that stalwart constituency, one that has yet to crack, even as those same surveys suggest a broader slippage of support among black voters. In the 2024 presidential election, an unflinching 92% of black women cast their votes for President Joe Biden's and Vice President Kamala Harris. Black women have been labeled as the backbone of the Democratic Party. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden gave thousands of pardons and preemptive pardons to Dr. Fauci and the entire J6 committee before leaving office. But Biden did not give pardons or preemptive pardons to Fani Willis, Letitia James, Stacey Abrams, and Marilyn Mosby. Now, before any of you want to get mad at me and say, "Oh, angry man, here you go talking about black women," this is actually a black woman that posted this. This is a black woman named Harriet, the Harriet Eve 9 experience. So this was actually a black woman that posted this. Interesting. Oh my God. Sweet Jesus. Oh my God. It says, holy crap, Martin Luther King Jr. participated in Wow. Bro, I'm reposting this on my Twitter page. Fam, if you have not followed me on Twitter, go to Twitter right now and follow me, fam. Go to Twitter right now and follow me. Now that they've released the documents about Martin Luther King Jr., look at what, oh my God. I tried to tell y'all. I tried to warn y'all. Oh my God. Oh my God. I tried to warn y'all about Dr. King. Oh my God. Yo, man, David Carroll is somewhere in the afterlife smiling from ear to ear. David Carroll is somewhere in the afterlife smiling from ear to ear, bruh. I can't even repeat what they said Dr. King was involved in. Well, not what they said, what the report says. I can't even repeat what he was involved in. I can't even say it up here. I can't even say it up here, bro. Get up here. Jesus. Sweet Jesus. Yo, when you get a chance, hey man, look, if y'all haven't followed me, man, follow me on X. Like, I be reposting stuff on X because I know I can't, you know what I'm saying? I know I can't post it anywhere else. Jesus. Mm. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's why, look, I was wondering why they were saying some of the family members, they were saying that some of the family members of Dr. King was upset that Donald Trump released these files. Now I see why they were upset. Now I see why they were upset. Yo, shout out to Hollow Ninja. He said, didn't Trump say he was going to cut taxes on overtime? My wigger. Also, why were they taxing overtime? Don't we do that for extra money anyway? Nonsense. Facts. Shout out to the lowly one. Said, when I went to work and saw Trump went past 270, I thank God, and then played Ray Charles' version of America the Beautiful. Shout out to Exodia, the Forbidden One, said for the collection played.
$50 boss up. Stack up and match up.
Shout out to Jerome, he said for the shoe. Shout out to McNair Way, said shout out to the BINO Nation. Uncle Trump starting out like Carl Lewis out the blocks. Yes, indeed. Uh-oh, we got another sponsor. Shout out to 64 ECG coming through to sponsor the show. We definitely appreciate you. Shout out to 64 ECG.
Here we go again. $100 boss up. Going down. Stack up and match up.
64 ECG said, keep doing what you do, brother. I appreciate you, fam. I appreciate you. Let's see. We got a couple more sponsors. Oh, snap. I told you when Trump get in office, shit changes when Trump get in office. Shout out to Jerome. Appreciate you, bruh. Shout out to R.E. Williams. Appreciate you. Said salute to you, sir. Let's see. Shout out to Mark coming through to be a sponsor of the show. Shout out to Mark. Appreciate you, fam.
Here we go again. $100 boss up. Going down. Stack up and match up.
Let's see. And shout out to Paul coming through. Paul coming through to be the biggest sponsor of the show with 101.
Here we go again. $100 boss up. Going down. Stack up and match up.
Paul said, keep cooking, AM. The news on MK is wild. Bruh, I might have to do a show about it tomorrow. I might have to do a show about that tomorrow. Look, everybody was mad. Yo, y'all remember when I did the show last year about Martin Luther King Jr. being a communist? Y'all remember that? How many of y'all, press one if y'all remember me doing that show where I went all the way in on Dr. King? Yo, you know how many Negroes was mad at me? Negroes was sending me emails talking about, AM, you ain't shit, bruh. You ain't shit for that, AM. I was just telling the truth. I was just telling the truth. Y'all be worshiping that man. Y'all be worshiping that man like he was Jesus, and he was far from it. But guess what? The funny thing about it is that man got a holiday. They talk about that man in school. Y'all worship that man. And the one you should be talking about is Brother Malcolm. Brother Malcolm didn't engage in none of that foolishness. Once Brother Malcolm became a Muslim and was married, he didn't do none of that foolishness. Now, sure, he had a past, where he used to do a bunch of stuff. But once he got right, he didn't do none of that stuff. The truth comes out. But let's get into this topic. Let's get into this topic about the ICE. Let's talk about the ICE, right? So, what's really confusing me right now, and it's the weirdest thing I ever seen. To me, I think this is happening because a good portion of the American public has been programmed so thoroughly that they don't even know what they're doing. They're just running around like the Energizer Bunny with a battery in their back, right? So what I'm trying my best to understand is why are American citizens who have every right to be here, American citizens who were born here, right? Why do y'all care about people being deported that came here illegally? What is with this newfound loyalty to illegal immigrants? Like, I don't understand it. Can somebody please make me understand it? I get why the Democrats are fighting so hard for it. But I don't understand why regular, average, everyday people are fighting for this. It doesn't make any sense, man. It has gotten to the point where you literally have, like, there's a couple of things that's happened, right? So, Tom Homan is trying to work in conjunction with law enforcement in these cities where you have these large populations of illegal immigrants, right? And because these are blue cities, because these are Democrat strongholds, right? Because you saw the videos of the mayors and governors saying we're not gonna comply. We're gonna protect the citizens. First of all, those are not your citizens. That's number one. Okay, if they're here illegally, they are not your citizens, right? So you got these mayors and these governors that are basically saying they are not going to cooperate with the Trump administration. They're not going to cooperate with Tom Homan. They're not going to cooperate with ICE. So basically what they're doing is they're saying, ICE is saying, look, if you arrest an illegal immigrant for committing a crime, let us come to the jail and you release them to us and then we'll deport them. And the leadership in these blue cities are basically saying, no, if you want to catch them after we release them from jail. So after they get out of jail, then you can catch them. We're not going to let ICE agents come to the jails and get the illegal immigrants, even if they committed a crime and did something crazy, right? So Tom Homan said, okay, I'll tell you what. Since you won't let us come down to the jail and get them, when you release them and then we go catch them, we're not only going to get them, we're going to get anybody else in the vicinity that's actually an illegal immigrant. Now, that makes sense, but let me ask you guys this question. And I want you to tell me what this sounds like to you. I want you to tell me if this logic makes sense, right? Why is it the protesters on January 6th that went into the Capitol building are accused of these heinous things? They're accused of trying to circumvent democracy. They're accused of trying to take over the government. They're called insurrectionists, all of these different things because they're going against the government of the United States. Why aren't these mayors and governors and law enforcement that's going against Trump's mandates for the mass deportation, why aren't they viewed that way? I mean, last time I checked, the American people voted Donald Trump in. He won definitively. He got all the electoral votes. He got the popular vote. He is officially the commander-in-chief. So if he's officially the commander-in-chief and he signed an executive order that there's a state of emergency as it pertains to the southern border, as it pertains to the immigration issue, how is it mayors and governors and officials in these cities are allowed to get up on TV and openly say that they're going to defy what the president is trying to do? How are they able to sit here as state officials? How are they able to sit there and say they're going to defy what the federal government is mandating? How are they able to do that? It's confusing to me. It's confusing to me. How are they able to do that? Why are they able to do that? Now, here's the thing that the average American citizen that is for the illegal immigrants remaining here, right? For whatever reason, whether they are thinking like, oh, they're trying to escape some hostile country, or they just want to be here for, the American dream and opportunity. To all of those people that are thinking that, I have a question for them. And I'm going to pull up the video so you can see it. I showed the video at the beginning of the show, but I'm going to show it again. So these are deported migrants or immigrants arriving back in Mexico. Issue warning. I don't recommend to cross, right? So these, I want you to pay attention to something. I want to see if everybody notices it. Now, did y'all notice it? I'm going to run it back and you tell me if you noticed it. Do y'all notice it? Exactly. Why is it the vast majority of the people that poured into this country, why are they young men of fighting age? I don't think we know or will ever know what we dodged. I don't think we know or will ever know what we dodged. The majority of these individuals that you see getting marched out of here are young men of military age. And I tell you something else, they ain't all Mexican. That's the other part. Do you notice some of them got a mask on and got a hood on their head? And before you try to say, well, you know, come on, Angryman. Of course they're not all Mexican. Some of them are Venezuelan. Some of them, no. What I'm saying is all of them are not Latino. That's what I'm saying. Couple of them dudes looked Middle Eastern. Couple of them looked Middle Eastern. Now, what they'll do is every time they interview somebody, they'll make sure they'll put the camera in front of somebody that's Latin, right? They'll make sure they put the camera in front of somebody that's Latin, so that you think that, you know, the country is just being mean to Latinos, right? But the hilarious thing about it is the Latinos that are here legally, the ones that went through the process correctly, they don't care about this. They don't care. Donald Trump said before he got elected that he was going to do this. And he still got a record number of votes from the Latin community. And do you know why? Because if you're a Latino that came from Venezuela or Mexico or one of these other Latin countries in Mexico, South America, right? You came here the right way. You came here to be an American citizen. You came here to make sure that your family had a better life. And the last thing you want is the bullshit you just left following you to this country. The last thing you want is the cartel following you to this country. The last thing you want is the gangs following you to this country. The last thing you want is the mentality that is being held in those countries following you to America. You came to America to get away from that shit. But see, the Americans that were born and raised here that have never went there or never been there are so damn silly, they think everybody coming into this damn country is coming into this country with good intentions. Now, why do they think that? They think that because our colleges teach our damn children to be idiots, teach them to be these tree-hugging communist hippies that think everybody has the best intentions. Everybody's trying to escape strife. No, some of them are trying to bring strife. And we saw that when the damn crime rate went up that they set up on the news and lied about. And look, I'm going to tell you the truth. Because this is how I feel. You even got teachers and nurses because they already announced, look, we going to go in these schools. We going to go in these hospitals, you know, the ICE agents. And anybody that's there that ain't got proper paperwork, they getting up out of here. They getting up out of here. And so now you got teachers and nurses jumping on TikTok talking about some, if an ICE agent come to my job or come to my neighborhood, I'ma do X, Y. You ain't gonna do shit. What you gonna do is you gonna end up in a damn jail cell is what the hell you gonna do. That's what you gonna do. You gonna end up getting folded up like a cheap ass beach chair, and then you gonna get put in a damn cell. In fact, part of the reason that you had the J6ers in jail for 4 freaking years is because you claimed that they were attacking Capitol police officers. So guess what? If you're going to attack ICE officers, then what you need to do is your ass need to be locked up too, and you need to be labeled an insurrectionist. But there is an alternative. There is an alternative. There's an alternative that I will suggest to all of you American citizens that do not like the mass deportation. And by the way, let me show y'all something. Let me pull this up real quick. So anytime that I go live, right? Anytime that I go live, I use vidIQ to give me some title ideas. So basically, when I go live and I want to talk about a certain topic, I'll type my own title and then I'll look it up on vidIQ to see if it suggests a better title, right? So let me show y'all something. Let me show y'all this real quick. I've been wanting to show y'all this for a while. I just never took the time to do it. But let's see. So this right here is vidIQ, right? And so I'll have a title, right? So the title that I originally had was Mass Deportations Are Happening. Can you guess who's upset, right? Now, this gives you a score of how good that title is based on, I guess, AI. I'm not sure. So that's a 65. What I want is something that's in the 80s or maybe even the 90s, right? So here are the suggested titles. Why Mass Deportation is Coming Soon. That's 79. Look at the ones that's 80 and up. This one is 82. The Inhumane Reality of Mass Deportations. Here's one that's 85. Mass Deportations. The Shocking Public Reaction. Right? Watch this one. This one is an 85. The Horrifying Reality of Mass Deportations. This one's 82. The Dark Reality of Mass Deportation. So this is trying to suggest to me that those are better titles to use. Is mass deportation actually possible? That one has a 74, right? Okay, this one has an 85. Mass deportation. The outrage that changed the nation forever. This one is 85. The mass deportation crisis. A tale of outrage and exodus. This one is 85. The mass deportations that changed America forever. This one is an 85. the moment you knew society was collapsing. This one is an 85, mass deportations, the nightmare we were warned about. Now, let me say this to vidIQ, if anybody from vidIQ is watching this. I don't have a problem with mass deportations at all, right? Now, I have vidIQ because it has tools that helps me with my content creation as far as suggesting titles, giving me the score of what how good my thumbnail looks and stuff like that. And I pay you guys every month. vidIQ, I don't pay you for your leftist opinion. I don't pay you for your leftist opinion. And what I've noticed is every single time I put a title in your little interface, it always suggests titles that are woke. It always suggests titles that are left-leaning. Now, if this is AI, it should be giving me titles that go along with the tone of the title I put up there. So if I put up there, Trump is the best president we've ever had, you shouldn't be giving me suggestions like Trump is a horrible president. Trump is the worst president ever. Trump is this. I didn't know y'all's app was woke. In fact, it shouldn't be, considering I fucking pay for it. See, we're going to have to start calling out this BS because we got a lot of people in tech that write the software for AI, and they write it in a very biased fashion. And I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm getting sick of it. I'm getting sick and tired of it. And I would urge any other content creators, start calling these companies out on their BS. Now, with that being said, to all of the American people that are citizens, you were born here, your parents were born here, that have a problem with mass migration. Or, mass deportation. Those of you that have a problem with Donald Trump. Those of you that have a problem with the direction the country is going. Those of you that have a problem with the J6ers getting pardoned, but you don't have a problem with Joe Biden pardoning his whole family and all of his associates. Those of you in America that thinks it's unfair that these illegal immigrants who came into this country and committed crimes are being forced to leave this country, I have a solution for you. Pack your shit up and leave. Leave. You don't have to live in this country. No one is forcing you to live in this country. In fact, I would suggest that you get your paperwork together, because guess what? You can't just leave this country as easily as they came into this country. In order for you to leave this country, American citizen, you're going to have your ID, you're going to have your passport, you're going to have your shit together in order for you to leave this damn country. And when you go to another country, they are going to have a process that you're going to have to go through in order to be a citizen of that country if you choose to do so. But you're not going to be able to go to another damn country and just walk across their damn border and then be welcomed with open arms without any documentation, and not only not have any documentation, but be allowed to commit crimes in their country and be set free right after you get arrested and put up in hotels and given money and given food stamps and given whatever the hell it is you want. But if you don't like being in America, get out. Get the hell out. And this goes for all you niggas that sit around here talking about the revolution will not be televised. This goes for all you niggas that despise America because you still think it's the same America it was during antebellum slavery, because you still think it's the same America it was during Reconstruction, because you still think it's the same America it was during Jim Crow. Pack up your shit, get your Skittles and all the rest of it, and get the hell out. Because we're sick and tired of hearing you talk shit about the country. We are sick and tired of listening to you talk shit about the country. Because here's the difference. When Joe Biden was in office, I didn't have a problem with the country. I had a problem with Joe Biden. I had a problem with his administration. I have a problem with certain congressmen and senators and mayors and all of that. But I am under no illusion that this country would not be just fine if we got rid of the rotten apples. So if you don't like being here, fucking leave. Nobody's making you stay here. Nobody's making you stay here. See, the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life is how you lefties march around here screaming about injustice, screaming about how horrible America is, while you simultaneously enjoy all the fucking privileges of America. Because you can't do that shit nowhere else. There is nowhere else in this world where you're going to march around complaining about the place you live in while simultaneously enjoying the freedoms that you enjoy here in America. And I know what you're going to say. What about the UK? Yeah, they can't have guns over there. There is no place in this world that has the same level of freedom that we have. And that's the reason why your ass is so spoiled. That's the reason why you're so entitled. That's the reason why you think you have the right to walk around here complaining about the very soil that you were born on as if it's the worst thing you've ever experienced in your life. You don't know what worse is. You don't have a damn clue. You don't have a clue. You've lived in this American bubble for so damn long with everybody kissing your ass that you think you're the king of the damn universe. Do us a favor. Do us a favor. Do us all a favor. Do us all a favor. You love communism so much, take your raggedy ass to a communist country. I'm going to say it again. If you love communism so much, comrade, take your ass to a communist country. But you ain't going to do that, are you? You ain't gonna do that. You ain't gonna do that, are you? Because you ain't crazy. You ain't crazy. You still want to be able to enjoy the things that you enjoy here in America. Because the dirty little secret is it's not as bad as you try to make it out to be. You just pretend it is so that you will perpetually have a revolution or a cause. Because as long as you have a revolution or a cause, you can always play victim and you can always use that to your advantage in order to garner and get certain privileges. Right? Because the moment you admit how awesome it is here, that's the moment you got to stop fucking complaining, because ain't nobody going to want to hear it. And when that happens, you can no longer use victimhood to give yourself an advantage. You would have to actually accomplish shit based on merit. That's the main reason why you're running around here crying about DEI being removed. Because you don't want to compete. You don't want to compete. You want everything to be handed to you. And you know the best way to do that is to run around here pretending like you are a perpetual victim. The world's unfair because you're black. The world's unfair because you're a woman. The world's unfair because of your sexual orientation. The world's unfair because of your disability. And you know what has happened in this country? It has made all of the rest of us, those of us that don't fit into those categories, those of us who are not black, women, disabled, anything other than heterosexual, that has made all of the rest of us second-class citizens. Now you're going to say, Angryman, but you're black. Yeah, but I'm a black male. I'm a black male and I'm a conservative. And guess what? I got some news for all of you. I got news for all of you. Any of you that are black and you're men and you're a conservative, in the eyes of the black community, you might as well be a white man. You want me to say that again? I'm going to say it again so you can hear it loudly and clearly. If you are a black male who just happens to be conservative, in the eyes of the black community, you may as well be a white man. Because that's how they look at you. Now, why is that problematic? It's problematic because the black community look at white people in a certain light, if you're not part of the left. See, the black community, for some odd reason, thinks that the white people on the right are racist, but the white people on the left aren't. Being on the right doesn't make you racist. Being on the right doesn't make you not racist. Being on the left doesn't make you racist. Being on the left doesn't make you not racist. Your political leaning or ideological views when it comes to politics is not a prerequisite for being racist or not being racist. That's not how that works. And by the way, to you Negroes in the black community, stop running around here saying it's impossible for a black person to be conservative, because you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Before Lyndon Baines Johnson came along, the vast majority of black people were conservatives. In fact, I would argue that even in this day and age, the vast majority of black people are conservative. You're conservative in your viewpoints. You're just too stupid to know you're conservative. Which is why you look ridiculous when you vote Democrat. because most of your views don't even align with Democratic views. The only view that you have that aligns with Democratic views are the views that they've convinced you is cool. In other words, the only thing that you agree with the Democrats is progressivism and intersectionalism. In other words, you've been commandeered and co-opted to fight for the cause of the Rainbow Committee. That's the only thing y'all have in common with the damn Democrats, is the fact that you want to fight for that group of people. Outside of that, you're conservative. Or at least you're supposed to be. What does it mean to be conservative? What it means to be conservative is, one, you like smaller government. In other words, you don't want the government all up in your business. Sounds like black people to me. You're God-fearing. You believe in God. You're religious. Sounds like black people to me. You believe in bearing arms to protect yourself and your family. Sounds like black people to me. You care about family. Well, you used to. Sounds like what black people used to be. See, the problem is y'all don't even know what conservatism is. I've heard some stupid Negroes say, well, to be conservative means you're trying to conserve wealth. So as black people, you don't have any wealth, so you're not conserving anything, so you're not conservative. And all I'm going to say to you niggas that think that is stop talking. Just stop talking, because you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You sound crazy. You sound absolutely crazy. You sound insane. Now, the funny thing about it is that the society is so freaking adamant about demonizing conservatives that when you look up the definitions of conservatism, it'll give you some wild shit. It'll give you some wild shit. Let's see. Let's check out this video.
You were, in your early years, you were a Marxist.
Yes.
What happened? How'd you get away from that?
I took a job in the government. I went to the University of Chicago as a Marxist. After a year of...
Hold on one second, you guys. Let's get this joint right.
Hey guys, welcome to Hip Hughes History. We're banging out ideology. This time we're going to do a little bit of the conservatism for you. What is an American conservative? Let's try to define it a little bit historically, definitely ideologically, and then we'll take a look at kind of the modern day interpretation of what it means to be a conservative. So giddy up for the learning, guys. Let's go get her done right now. So before we talk about conservatism, we want to get used to the political compass ideological matrix, which you can see right there on the screen. If you take the political compass test, which is down in the description below, you can measure yourself according to the ideological matrix, whether it's conservatism, liberalism, libertarianism, or anarchism, and that would be your horizontal line going across, which is measuring your belief in the role of the government as it relates to the economy. Leftists or all the way over socialists are going to believe in the collective, that there needs to be government regulation and involvement in the economy as a collective unit in order to create those opportunities of equality for everybody. People on the other side, or the libertarian side, are going to believe in a laissez-faire or a free market capitalistic approach, not only because limited government is best, they're talking about ideals of freedom in that perspective as it relates to private property, but also in terms of market-based solutions they believe are the best solutions for the economy. If you're talking about the vertical line going up and down, you're talking about social order. So somebody who is an anarchist would be all the way down at the bottom, believing that there should be no government regulation on human behavior at all, as opposed to way up in the top, which is totalitarianism. So we've talked about libertarianism already, which is going to be social order, really low involvement, liberty over government order, and to the right, economic freedom over government regulation or coercion. We've also talked about what it means to be a liberal, and we found that this is a little left of the center, where you still believe in the economy in terms of private property and those ideals of being a liberal in terms of liberalism with freedom at the center, but you also believe there needs to be avenues of equality of opportunity for everybody, so you do believe in some type of government role in terms of regulating the economy, whether it's Social Security or a minimum wage, in order to create those avenues for people to be free and to have their liberty, not just in theory, but in practicality. So, where is the conservative on here? Well, there's a few different spots and a few different labels. Let's take a look. So in terms of the modern definition, if somebody says, I'm a conservative, there's really two ways you could split that. They're definitely going to be an economic conservative if they say they're conservative. Libertarians are economic conservatives because they believe in the free market approach. They believe limited government is best, and also back to that ideal of liberty over everything else. So if you're taxing me without my permission, income tax or something like that, you are in a sense taking my money. You're a thief in order to create economic opportunity for somebody else. So in terms of economic conservatism, that's always going to be true. Conservatives in the Republican Party, far back as Lincoln, are going to believe that, and so is Ronald Reagan, and so is a George Bush. So that type of economic conservatism isn't going to change. Really, what we're going to split hairs about is social conservatism, sometimes also called Christian conservatism. And really, this develops first in the Democratic Party as really being kind of a Southern party. This is pre-1960s. People that believe in social order. These are characteristics of a social conservative. They believe in values, in some type of universal truth, that we have tradition and that we have our roots in Christian Judaic culture, and that needs to be upheld with the role of the government doing that. So in a sense, a traditional conservative who might be in love with the 10th Amendment, who might say that states should have the right to experiment in the republic in order to create what's best for their localized population, a social conservative would say, hey, back that bus up, because if we have a state that's going to legalize marijuana or is going to legalize gay marriage or is going to limit the right to bear arms, we have a problem with that. We believe that the government has a role in creating this type of social order that we see as the best for the republic. And this is why a conservative, a social conservative, is moving up. And I know it's a scary word, but they're moving up towards totalitarianism. That doesn't mean they're a believer in totalitarianism, but they definitely believe that there's a role in the government to support, to facilitate, to uphold some of these values that we've had in our past, whether that relates to traditional marriage, or it's a pro-life stance, or a very traditional view of the Second Amendment and the right to bear arms, or how we run our schools in terms of saying school prayer, or having some type of religious influence in the public square. A social conservative say that ranks pretty high if we're going to maintain our superiority as a culture, as a people. So therefore, they're willing to use government control in order to enhance what they see as the best liberty for everybody. And then, of course, people that believe in diversity or in secularism, this idea that religion should be kept away from government, are going to disagree with that. They're going to fall towards that libertarian view. And that's why libertarians and liberal have something in common. They have something in common when they're talking about social order and the role of the government. Both sides are going to say, it's best that we let people make up their own minds and act accordingly. There's some other types of conservatives. You might have heard the term neoconservatism. Conservatism is also rooted in a very strong belief in sometimes patriotism or nationalism in the military. And this is, again, where libertarians are going to split off. So libertarians who are, to the right but down in that quadrant are going to say, it's best that we mind our own business. It's best that we have a limited military just to defend the nation's borders. Libertarians are not very nationalistic. They believe in the individual. But a neoconservative sees a special role in the world that the United States has to play. And they would point to maybe some of the ideas of us spreading democracy in other cultures. And of course, the Iraq War is really hedged on.
And that's why right now you see this movement of more of a populist movement, right? You see this movement of more of a populist movement because neoconservatism is what leads to us trying to police the entire world. And Donald Trump is not really a neoconservative as much as he is a populist style president. In other words, he cares more about making sure that America is straight than worrying about what's going on with other countries. You feel what I'm saying? This is why in his first term, he was not really a war type president where he wanted to go and police all of the other places. He's more concerned about America first. You feel what I'm saying? So he's more of a populist style president. You understand? But definitely conservative. Definitely a social conservative because he believes in, he believes in God and religion, and feels that religion plays a huge role in the way we actually operate as a country, the way we, let's be real, like a lot of the laws we have come from religion. You know what I'm saying? It comes from the morality of religion, Judeo-Christian faith. You understand?
And kind of that neoconservative idea that we're bringing democracy and Western values of freedom and equality and respect and all of that stuff to other cultures. So a neoconservative doesn't necessarily have to be a social conservative, but they definitely believe that there's a role for our culture worldwide. So that's a whole bunch of conservatives, guys. Let's sum it up. So today, the home of the Conservative Party is the Republican Party. And again, you have this split between social conservatives and economic or libertarian conservatives over the role of the government when it comes to social matters and values. Definitely the Republican Party is the home of that starting really in the 1960s. One interesting stat would be prior to the 1960s, the South was 3-1 Democrat. These are segregationalist Democrats that are conservative because they believe in the 10th Amendment and states' rights. That's going to flip when the Republican Party really becomes the party of law and order in the 1960s and the 1970s, and that's going to attract those Southern.
Now, just to give you guys a hint, what you see going on right now, like history definitely repeats itself, because what you see going on right now is similar to what went on back in the 60s and the 70s. In the 60s and the 70s, remember, you had the free love movement. You had this hippie movement where you had all of these individuals that didn't want to go to war. They just wanted to be happy and free and all of these different things. And really, to be truthfully honest, that attitude and that mentality was problematic for the country because a lot of the hippies were really anti-American, right? They looked at the American establishment as the man and the machine or whatever. And you got to keep in mind, this is around the same time of the civil rights era. So you have the hippies and that entire movement kind of attaching itself to the racial equality whole thing and all of that crap, right? And what put an end to it was the election of Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan came in and he kind of brought the country back away from the whole free love movement and brought it back more into a conservative type country in the 80s. So now you're kind of seeing the same thing happen where you have not the free love movement, but you have this progressive movement with all of these progressive individuals who are very anti-American. And, you know, they look at the American establishment as being a problem. And now you have to have another president similar to Ronald Reagan, like with a Donald Trump, where he comes in and he actually pushes the country in a different direction. Now, the only difference is with Trump is you had this break in his presidential terms, in his consecutive terms, with Joe Biden, you know, kind of throwing off the realignment of the country, in my personal opinion. But history definitely repeats itself, because right now the closest example of Donald Trump that we have in the past was Ronald Reagan. You feel what I'm saying? And at the same time, when you look back at Reagan, there was a lot of things that Reagan did that you may not know about, especially if you grew up in a black family, because most black families could not stand Ronald Reagan and Reaganomics and all of those different things. But I would urge you to go back and do some research on Ronald Reagan and actually look at some of the documentaries about him to see what type of president he really was. Because back then, you know, black folks, I remember specifically, black folks loved Jimmy Carter and they could not stand Ronald Reagan. And in this day and age, Joe Biden is our Jimmy Carter and Donald Trump is our Ronald Reagan.
Southern Democrat Christian voters who are much slower in their views about change in society. And they're going to want the federal government to allow them to stop the progression of liberalism and multiculturalism and those kinds of ideals.
Hold on, let's pause for a second. Ewandrick said, our laws don't come from religion. Most of our governing rules are based in ethics. Yeah, and ethics come from religion. What are you talking about? What are the main things you get in trouble for in this country? If you take somebody's life, you get in trouble for it. If you steal something, you get in trouble for it. You can even get in trouble. You can even get in trouble in certain places for adultery. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Your entire concept of right and wrong comes from religion. See, there's always an individual that wants to be right. There's always an individual like that in the chat room that wants to be right and doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. Doesn't even know what the hell they're talking about. But it's cool. I'll play that game with you. I'll play that game with you. So, we're just going to pull up the definition of ethics. We're going to pull up the definition of ethics, right? So, the definition of ethics. The definition of ethics is moral principles that govern a person's behavior or the conducting of an activity. Similar words would be moral code, morals, morality, moral stand, moral principles, moral values, right and wrongs, principles, ideals, creed, credo, ethos, rules of conduct, standards of behavior, virtues, dictates of conscience. Okay? The fact that it says moral principles, you get your morality from religion. That is where the concept of morality comes from. It actually comes from religion. So, this right here is a debate that people have been having for quite some time. And in my personal opinion, it's a bullshit debate. It says morality can come from religion through religious teachings, sacred texts, and religious leaders. However, some say that morality can exist independent of religion. The only problem is prior to religion, you do not have rules of morality. Prior to religion, you don't have that. Said all morality is based in philosophical theorem. Okay, well, I tell you what, Ewandrick, explain to me. Name the philosopher that was not, name the philosopher that was here before religion. Name the philosopher that was here before religion. Name the philosopher that predates religion. I'll wait. Name the philosopher that predates religion. Very simple question. You said easy? Okay, then if it's so easy, why are you typing easy instead of the person? You said Plato? Socrates? During Plato's time, he was a pagan who worshiped the Greek gods. So there was a religion during Plato's time. Socrates lived in Athens during a time when the dominant religion was polytheistic Greek religion. So no, Plato and Socrates do not predate religion. Plato and Socrates do not predate religion. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't have a damn clue. You don't have a clue. You don't have a clue. You don't know what you're talking about. But see, the reason why you think that is because you live in a modern time that has done everything in its power to discredit religion and to discredit, well, not really religion. You live in a modern time that has done everything in its power to discredit God. So, of course, you're going to think that human beings just decided to make rules. Human beings didn't just decide to make rules. That's not how it happened. That's not how it happened. In fact, let me see something real quick. Let's see. What time period did Socrates live in? Socrates lived in 470 to 399 BC. What time period did Plato live in? He lived in 428 to 348 BCE. So they lived roughly in the same time period. The 42 Confessions of Maat, also known as the Negative Confessions, are primarily associated with the New Kingdom period of ancient Egypt, roughly 1550 to 1069 BCE. So the 42 Confessions of Maat, which most people will say is what the 10 Commandments is derived from, actually existed about 500, almost 1,000 years before Socrates and Plato. What are the 42 ideals of Maat? Let's see. I have not committed sin. That's 1. 2, I have not committed robbery with violence. 3, I have not stolen. 4, I have not slain men and women. 5, I have not stolen grain. 6, I have not plundered offerings. 7, I have not stolen the property of God. 8, I have not uttered lies. 9, I have not carried away food. 10, I have not uttered curses. 11, I have not committed adultery. 12, I have made none to weep. 13, I have not eaten the heart. 14, I have not attacked any man. 15, who cometh forth from the execution chamber, I am not a man of deceit. 16, I have not stolen cultivated land. 17, I have not been an eavesdropper. 18, I have not slandered anyone. These are rules that are from a religion that existed long before Plato and Socrates were even a thought. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? In fact, it was Socrates who said, compared to the Egyptians, the Greeks are childish mathematicians. Was it not Socrates that said that? Let me make sure. Oh, no, I'm incorrect. It was Plato that said that. It was Plato that said that. Plato said, compared to the Egyptians, the Greeks are childish mathematicians. So when I'm sitting here saying to you, name a philosopher that predates religion, and you bring up Plato and Socrates, you're literally bringing up two dudes that were born over 1,000 years after the Egyptian religion of Ma'at, or the Egyptian religion and the mystery schools of Egypt. So what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Now, Ewandrick, would you like to retract your statement? Would you like to just admit that you're incorrect and retract your statement? Because anybody with common sense knows that lawlessness, heathenism, and all of those different things existed before rules. So what introduced the rules? Ewandrick, are you ready to concede? Are you ready to concede? Chad Russell said, my yacht came from Amma. Look it up. Somebody do me a favor. Who is Chad Russell? Who is Chad talking to? Who is Chad Russell talking to? The first religion was Amma. Okay, that's not the point that I'm trying to make. I never said that that was the first religion. I never said that that the Egyptian religion was the first one. I never said that. Did anybody in the chat hear me say? Did anybody in the chat hear me say that the Egyptian religion was the first religion? Did anybody hear me say that? Anybody hear me say that? You guys let me know if I said that. But do you see how, and see, I know these are Negroes. Do you see how Negroes try everything in their power to be right? They try everything in their power to be right, so much so that they're willing to put words in your mouth that you didn't even say. What I said was, name a philosopher that predates religion. And people started naming Plato and Socrates. And Plato and Socrates do not predate religion. They don't. They don't predate religion, and they don't predate rules. Where you get rules or a way of living that is the consensus for an entire group of people is religion. In fact, I would argue that is literally the only way that you can have a consensus across an entire group of people that they should follow certain edicts and rules. It's through religion. And when you look at the rules of America, America is based on Judeo-Christian values. So no, Ewandrick, our rules in America don't come from no fucking philosophy. It comes from religion. You idiot. Some philosophers considered to have existed before the development of organized religion include. Somebody do me a favor, kick his ass out of my chat room. Kick him out of my chat room. I'm done arguing with niggas. I'm done arguing with niggas. I'm done arguing with niggas. See, the problem with this Negro that he doesn't understand is you're having a conversation with a person that is a believer in God. So if I believe in God, and I believe that God sets the law of the universe and the rules that humans have to follow, then there's absolutely no way that I'm ever going to sit here and say that a philosopher predates religion or predates rules, because there's no philosopher that predates God. Anyone who is a person who believes in the Almighty will tell you plain and simple, the Almighty is the author of morality for human beings. He's the author of the rules that human beings must follow. And there's no philosopher that predates that. Anybody with any common sense knows that the rules of America are based on Judeo-Christian values. This is the reason why on your money it says, "In God we trust." This is the reason why we say, "God bless America." Like, what are we talking about? In fact, hold on, let me pull up the lyrics, right? Ray Charles, America the Beautiful. Oh, beautiful, for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life. America, America, make God thy gold refine. Till all success be nobleness, and every gain divine. Oh, beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, sweet America, you know God done shed his grace on thee. Like anybody that thinks, see, this is what's so goofy in this day and age. What's so goofy in this day and age is that these liberals, these lefties, these progressives have convinced the American people that this is not a godly country, that this country was not founded under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Why the hell would the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of America have God in it if this country was not built off of values from religion? And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God. This is the main reason why I have to stop going on to panels. As much as I like going on panels, I have to stop going on panels because niggas only exist for the purpose of aggravating people. Niggas only exist for the purpose of creating confusion and foolishness. And that's all they do. 24/7, 24 and more, is they run around wanting to argue with people about shit, And half the shit they argue about don't even make no damn sense. Don't even make no sense. Don't even make sense. They just want to argue for the purpose of arguing. And we know they ain't right. We know they ain't right. You know how I know Negroes ain't right? Because if you was right, your condition wouldn't be what it is. That's how I know you ain't right. That's how I know you ain't right. You ain't right because your condition is what it is. Shout out to the world of Sean. He said, don't mean to interrupt. We doing our own show, but remember how hard it was back in the day with the hangers and aluminum foil to get the TV signal right. Shout out to Global Pastimes. He said, deport the leftist rebels next, the ones who hate and plot against our great nation. Shout out to Daniel. He said, came here legally and proudly served this country. Get them out of here. Shout out to Aki Aki. He said, they acting like DEI is synonymous with EEO. Trump never revoked equal employment opportunities, and DEI is nothing but repacked affirmative action. Facts. Shout out to David. Shout out to Michael. He said, uh-oh, you going to make them do some research, AM. Shout out to Black Goku Zero. Said the left doesn't want to leave the country. They really want the country to be like Gotham City in The Dark Knight Rises when Bane took over. Shout out to Angel. Said this country's laws were founded upon Christian ethics. Secularists don't have an ethical foundation to ground their morals to. Christians and other religions do. Secularists base theirs on consensus. Yeah, and that's why it doesn't work. That's why it doesn't work, because their rules can change based on their opinions. And that's why their shit doesn't work. That's why most nations that have a religion usually become stronger than a nation that doesn't have one. Anytime you have a nation that doesn't have a religion, you kind of end up with a lawless nation, if you really want to be honest. Shout out to Angel. Appreciate you. DJ B Fit said, AM, this stream too complex for some ninjas. The community stays loyal to degeneracy. Stay taking L's, falling for the... yeah. Well, at this point, it's not even a trap. At this point, it's their own ignorance and their own foolishness that keeps them in that goofy state. But you can't tell them nothing. You can't. That's the biggest problem. That is the biggest problem, bar none, with the black community, is that you can't tell them anything. They don't want to hear anything that you have to say. If it's not something that they already think, they think it's not true, or they think it's false or flawed or whatever. And that's the reason why you'll sit back and notice that black people, a lot of black people, not all, but a lot of black people have difficulty elevating. They have difficulty changing and improving because they don't want to hear anything that they don't agree with. But with that being said, I appreciate everybody for tuning into the show. Shout out to everybody that came through. Make sure you guys go over and check out my book over on Amazon. All you have to do is type The Angryman Standard in the search bar and it will come up. Also, if you want to check out the merchandise, please go to shopBinoNation.com. Again, that is shopBinoNation.com, where you can get the merchandise. But aside from that, man, salute to everybody that came through. Shout out to everybody that hit the like button and supported the show. Shout out to all of our sponsors. I appreciate you guys. And I will be back at you tomorrow. Holla at y'all later. Deuces.
Spartans! What is your profession?